The other thing to remember is as soon as we get into the US, if you're using your Canadian call sign, V3AJB/Whiskey 8. In case other people are listening or whatever, we now have to use the suffix. And for both Michigan and Ohio, which are the two states we'll be traveling through, it's /Whiskey 8 in relation to that. Around
Hey,
12
Al,
noon, yep,
if we could
please
just
go ahead. Yeah, add to it.
just before we get too far ahead there, when we cross the border, just so everybody's comfortable with what we're doing, there is no fooling around. There is no, I'm going to sneak this through. There is none of that kind of stuff. Everything is strictly above board. Everything is by the book. Everything is legal, all that stuff. And the reason behind all that is if you get tagged once doing something wrong, you're going to get pulled over every time you cross the border. It's just not worth any kind of trouble or any kind of issues. We always pay our duties, all that kind of stuff. So don't think that there's going to be a problem that way. You follow the rules, and it's always, for however many years we've been going, always been smooth. So that's the lesson that you need to know.
Yeah, and that's really crucial too. 1 year, thank you for mentioning that, Ken, and I'm glad you're here for that. What we usually do is stop at the Ontario Information Tourist Center before we head across, give another chance for a washroom break. And if you have any money that you haven't exchanged, that you want to exchange, there is an exchange. The rates are higher in there than going to the bank ahead of time. But if anybody has, oh geez, you know, I've got an extra couple $100, I want to change it over, this is a good place to do it at. And we get all together, and then we cross as a group and get in line on the bridge, because you don't want people pulling in front of you and we all get separated. So we stay together. The other thing is, which you may or may not be aware, customs on both sides have listening devices. So you want to try and preclude doing, here I am, I'm EGAC, the terrorist bomber, or whatever the case is. You don't want to make any unruly jokes or something as we're waiting in line to get across, because you never know, they could be listening. And believe me, in today's day and age and what's going on in the world, there's nothing like that. So and we stay off the radios too until we get through customs and get that way. We had Jerry Kitts, V3GKW, travel with us 1 year, and Jerry had prostate cancer, and he had those radiation bullets inserted or whatever to deal with his cancer. And they knew exactly as he was coming across the border, because the car he was in lit up like a Christmas tree, because they've got radar, or what do they call it?
Radiation, yeah.
Radiation detectors and everything. They pulled him over. Now he had a letter from his doctor saying, yes, I've got this inserted and that with it. So especially the American Homeland Security and border crossings, you got to be very, very careful with that. So that's what we dealt with. So we head south. Once everybody gets across, we get down as far as St. Ignace, just before we cross the Mackinac Bridge, pull off there, and it's usually time for lunch. We're there around 12 noon, 12:30ish or so. And we have stopped at the Big Boy restaurant, Elias Big Boy. Food's usually pretty good. They've got a buffet if you want salads and soups and that type of stuff, or order off the menu. It's relatively cheap, but if somebody wants to eat somewhere else, that's not precluding you. That's just someplace where we normally stop. And then
excuse me for a second,
yeah,
Al.
yeah, go ahead.
You mentioned buffets.
Yeah.
Because of COVID-19, I would say 90% of all the restaurants that had buffets don't have them anymore.
Don't have them anymore. Okay.
No, it's a la carte.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know too. All right. Excellent for sure. So we'll have to keep that in mind and see what's happening there. And then normally we'll fill up with gas. Where the nice thing about being on I-75, it's 4 lanes. The highway is beautiful, and hopefully the gas is cheaper over on the other side of the border, and we can fill up to what's needed, and then we head out south on I-75. As we get further on down the highway, frequent stopping is allowed and permitted, and even overabundance of it. The reason is we encourage washroom breaks. As you know, I-75 is beautiful for having rest stops every 30 miles down the highway, and people may need washroom breaks. I'm on water pills, so I'm like a racehorse half the time, and may need to stop a few times. Back leg stretches. Anybody that's got back or issues to get out of the car, move around, maybe change drivers. I have the luxury. I've got my son coming with me this year, so I've got a built-in chauffeur. Give me more time to play on the radios in the vehicle. So we'll probably be switching drivers. So what we usually do, we get the signs, rest stop 2 miles ahead. I'll get on the radio, or whoever's leading the pack. There's a rest stop coming up. Does anybody need to stop? And don't hesitate.
Whoever's leading the pack. Come on now, Al.
Oh, well, I have done in the past, but that doesn't necessarily. I've seen you sneak by me. You and Pat try and race by me a few times there, and that with it. The only thing is, if I lead the pack, and I can tell you all kinds of stories, I'm not going to do it this morning, but if I get pulled over, I still have the luxury of having that piece of tin, even though I'm retired, in my pocket. And if I can talk the rest of the officer out of a ticket, and the rest of you, if you're following. But you know what? Since I've aged, I've slowed down quite a bit. Believe it or not, you're going to see a difference. And I'll put the cruise control on.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah, okay, let's put
Yeah.
that.
Anyway, so away we go, and yeah, it usually works out not too bad, and with it. So we
Only one
will.
thing now.
Yeah.
Only one thing. You keep saying your cruise control's on, but your foot's on the fuel anyway.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, you got to watch what's happening there. Well, it was funny because I used to put the APRS on, and people used to follow us going down the highway, and what ended up happening, of course, they'd see my speed on the various APRS segments and say, "Oh, I see we're doing this going down," right? So I can't lie, right? It's there. What normally happens, we'll pull into the place where we've usually stopped, and it's worked out very well, is a place called Birch Run, Michigan. If you haven't been there before, we usually pull in there around 3:30, 4 o'clock-ish in the afternoon for the first day. And we grab a motel room, America's Best Inns, I think is what it's called now. It's a place where Pat and Ken and I and the others traveling have gone. The motel is very clean. It's really well established, and it's close to all the amenities that are in Birch Run. The outlet mall is just across the overpass. The restaurants are nearby. There's a big Walmart or Myers there. So if we have to go and purchase goodies and stuff, it's all there, and it's relatively inexpensive for the room. In the last few years now, I can't talk after COVID, but it was what, Ken, Pat, around $50 a night or something like that. So
Yeah, pretty
it's
cool.
yeah, it's not too bad, and the rooms are clean. So, we always worry about bed bugs and, really seedy things, but no, this is a nice place, and it's suggested. We're not paying $150 at a Marriott or, something for the night. So it's rest our heads and get a bit of a rest. And that nice thing is Myers is right behind it. It's a Myers, or is it a Walmart? I can't remember. Anyway, it's a big store, so if you need to stock up on snacks or water or beer or whatever, normally we'll carry a cooler in a couple of the vehicles that we use at the Hamvention there too. So the next morning, we're usually up. The hotel does have a continental breakfast room, cereals and bagels and toast and poached eggs and whatever else they've got there. It's not a big eggs and bacon and whole kinds of stuff, but it's usually enough to get us going, and coffee, juices, etc. We have that, and then
Al,
yeah, go ahead.
the continental breakfast that you're used to seeing,
Yeah.
they're slowly coming back into play because of
Oh,
COVID
good.
again.
Okay.
So I'm not. It depends on some hotels will have them, and some haven't reintroduced them. Just to let
Okay.
you know.
All right.
It's
Well, fine indeed. There's, there's McDonald's, there's whatever right around the hotel. So if we have to do a drive-through for an egg McMuffin and a coffee or something to that nature, we have that ability to. So it's not. Or if somebody wants to sit down and have a full breakfast, we can do that too. But we usually like to get moving early in the morning, fill up with gas if needed, and then we head back down I-75. Just north of the Ann Arbor, Michigan area, it routes off on I-75, which goes towards Detroit. We take a break. It's on I-23 or Route 23, which bypasses Detroit altogether. It saves quite a bit of time. And then it links up with I-475, which is another highway. And then at the Toledo area of Ohio, it routes back onto I-75. It's not hard to miss. There's some type of mosque or Sikh temple there that looks like two rocket missiles up there. It's usually a good visual sight, and we link back up on I-75 and head down that way into Ohio. Usually we arrive at our destination at Fairburn, Ohio is where we're going to be staying at the Red Roof Inn, Nutter Center, and we get settled. That's usually between 12, 1 o'clock-ish, depending on how traffic is in there. And then we decide once we get settled, get our luggage in the rooms, etc., we'll go for lunch. Anybody that wants to do shopping and take it easy that afternoon, look around, do whatever. Just to let you know, the hotel area, here is a map of the hotel area. Where we're staying is right here at this star. It's right at the junction of the highway, and if you see all these, it's not a very good map, but you'll see all these numbers that are situated. It's all within a 4 or 5 block radius, and here's all the list of restaurants and shops. I mean, we've got a Frisk's, a Wendy's, El Rancho Grande, Rapid Fire Pizza, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Bob Evans, First Watch, Timmy's Walk, One-Eyed Jack's, Flying Pizza, Texas Roadhouse, if you like steaks and barbecue, the Right Place, Red Lobster, Olive Garden, Steak and Shake, McDonald's, TGI Fridays, goes on, different restaurants. One that we like to go to, and what Claude may mention, the Golden Corral. We usually like to go there. It gives you quite a wide variety. But again, it's a big buffet restaurant, and I'm not sure if they're open.
some of the Golden Corrals have reopened.
Okay.
Okay, not
Yep.
all of them, but
Okay.
you probably, depending on the state,
Yep.
they're open. Not all. Just to let you know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can check it out. It's usually pretty good. Their prices are good. And you can get
Yeah,
everything from a good steak there to salads to everything else. That is a popular place. But as you can see, there's all kinds of restaurants, all kinds of things where we're staying. The actual Hamvention in Xena, Ohio is only a 10-minute drive, 7 to 10-minute drive from this location. So we're not traveling at a long distance. And the Red Roof Inn that we checked out, there's a big convenience store across the parking lot. which is a gas station combination. They've got everything in there. If you want to go and grab a sandwich or a hamburger out of there or whatever, they've got, or coffee or soda or whatever you want. It's got everything there too. So it's very, very convenient, and it's a clean and a safe restaurant. So, or hotel. We've stayed there in the past years and never had a problem, and they've been very, very good. So that's what the recommendation is. So just to carry on, Thursday the 19th is a free day. The reason why we go down a day earlier is to give you a day of rest if you need it. But as Ken mentioned earlier, this is a day that if you want to go shopping, and there's all kinds of places to go to. There's Best Buy down there. There's, if you're into electronics, there's Walmart's, there's Myers, there's those type of stores. If you want to go into Dayton, go to Mendelssohn's, which is a huge electronic store. You can go and do that. Some of you that like Princess Auto, well, they have a store down in the US, if you've never been there, called Harbor Freight. And oh my God, you talk about ham radio related stuff. If you want to build stuff, they've got boxes and all kinds. It's like going to Princess Auto. It's just an amazing, but 10 times the equipment there. So, there's all kinds of things you can do in regards to shopping. If you haven't been to the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base Air Force Museum, wow, what a place to go and see if you're into aircraft and that. It's free to get in. There's no charge. And you could walk around all day and look at all the planes from the Wright brothers' first built plane to the latest stealth bombers and everything else that they've got there. So that's something else you could possibly do. Or if you just want to hang around the hotel and chat, and, take it easy and get geared up for the next day, that's what it's there for. So, and then of course we can all go out for lunch and dinner again and have a good time. The one thing that we do is we drive down to the Hamvention grounds. And the reason is you buy your tickets. You'll get a ticket for your pass to get into the Hamvention. And if you go the day before, you save $5. This year they've gone up. It's $26 for the ticket for the 3 days. Okay. Or if we buy it at the door on Friday morning, it's $31. But it's well worth it. It gives you access to all the things. And what I normally do, I'll bring lanyards. If you've got a lanyard and you can find yourself a lanyard someplace, I've got some extras. But if you've got a lanyard of some sort, I usually take the ticket and we go to a Staples. And we go to the Staples and pay a couple of dollars and get it laminated and put a grommet in it and hook it up like this. And now this is nice, right? You put it around your neck, and when you walk through the gates of the Hamvention, and that they've got guards at all the thing, you just hold up your ticket, whatever, and show them your ticket at the thing, and they wave you right through. That way you're not going into pockets or into your bags or your back thing. And the cardboard, if it should rain, it stays nice and dry, and it's not going to get all chewed up and that. There's a segment that tears off where you put your name, your address, your call sign, your email address, your phone number, and it goes into a big barrel for all the prize draws that are there. So that's something that you can definitely do too. So that's something that we do, and get that done on the day before. $5 is $5. You could probably buy a whole roll of electrical tape for that, and save you enough for a month, with it. So Friday and Saturday, of course, we usually pick our times. If we get to the Hamvention early and get a good parking spot. Now, one thing that we do, we manage to get, a lot of us do have handicap permits, and that if we can get into the handicap parking, oh my God, that is a godsend. to get closer to the actual doors and that with it, because some of the grounds, and I'll show you some pictures here in a few minutes, some of the grounds are quite a while. Now, they have done it very nicely. They've got a bunch of golf carts that are large golf carts that they will shuttle people back and forth from the parking lot to the thing. But if you're buying stuff and you want to go back, we usually use the vehicles as a resting spot. What'll happen, we all have our radios and we're talking, and one of us that's going back maybe purchase something. You don't want to be carrying that around with you all day long. So you say, I'm heading back to the cars. Anybody want to put their stuff in, whatever the case is, and we all meet back. Have we've got coolers in the vehicles. Have a bottle of water or a pop or something, and relax for a few minutes, and then head back and do some more with it. So it works out fairly well. But the sooner we get there, and this year could be, because it hasn't been done for 2 years, there's going to be a big lineup. So we're looking at probably getting there early in the morning. The gates open at 9 o'clock, but if we get there by 7:30 in the morning, we're hopefully get a close enough spot, because by 9 o'clock, forget it. You're going to be walking 2 miles to get back to the gates. It's unbelievable. Again, Sunday, attend the Hamvention. If we choose to do so, usually early in the morning. Now, Sunday morning are the time to get all the bargains, because people don't want to haul stuff back. So walking around for a couple hours, pick up your small items that you're looking at, go out to the flea market. That's when you can really get the deals, and you see something, the guy, see something, and you'll be able to get it. So when we decide to pull out and leave on Sunday morning or Sunday around noon or whatever, we head back to Birch Run. And as a result of that, we spend the night at Birch Run. We can go back to the outlet mall. And that's what I forgot to mention, is the big outlet mall in Birch Run on when we get down there on Wednesday and get checked in. We usually go over to the outlet mall. There's 300, 400 stores out there, and there's everything. And one thing that a lot of us do is they've got a Nike store. And if you're looking for a pair of running shoes, you can get a really good deal on a good pair of running shoes at this store. Something where you'd pay, $39, $49 for a pair of running shoes, maybe, where it costs you $150 back here in Canada. Oh my God. And what you do is you put them on, okay? And that, or maybe a golf shirt, or what other clothing. But there's all kinds of stuff. There's Levi's, there's Old Navy, you name it, whatever stores there. Look it up if you get a chance, Birch Run Outlet Mall, and you'll see all the list of stores. You may want to look in case there's something you're looking for specifically there with it. So then, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, let me butt in for just a second.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So we'll just back up one step real quick here.
Yep.
You've got some times and dates for the Hamvention there that I know you like to go for the entire time. So he's talking 8 hours on Friday, 8 hours on Saturday, and 3 or 4 hours on Sunday, whatever it happens to be. Not everybody wants to be there that amount of time, because for those who are not good for walking or standing for that amount of time, it gets to be a bit much, and that's absolutely fine. A lot of the times what will happen is there'll be some of us head back to the hotel at 1 or 2 in the afternoon, because we've had enough for the day, that sort of thing. Absolutely. If you want to do that, you won't be alone. That's not a problem. If you don't want to go Saturday, if you just want to go Friday and Sunday, that's certainly an option. All that is completely flexible. However you want to do it, whichever you want to do it, not a big deal. The only key thing is, like I was saying, you kind of got to be there early in the morning to get a decent parking spot. So, and the other thing that goes on is there are some food vendors in there, but it's kind of a lot of greasy stuff, typical ballpark kind of stuff. I don't know that I don't particularly enjoy that kind of fair. But what we'd like to do is we bring a cooler with us, and we'll shop at Walmart or wherever the day before, grab a loaf of bread and some whatever you want for sandwiches or that kind of thing, and we'll have that available at the vehicle. And you come out, you have a sandwich, you have a drink of water, pop, whatever you want, and you sit for 15, 20 minutes, and you go back to the flea market. So it makes it a lot easier to navigate through the day. And then when you've had enough, and you don't worry about it. There's
Yeah,
no.
what happens also with them vendors, if you buy a hot dog there, it's $6.
Yeah, that exactly. It is quite pricey in there. So
Yeah.
really, you save a few bucks, you get some, a little bit more decent food some of the time. And it's just a nice break through the day, and you do want to have something to drink because the weather there is one of two extremes. It's either really hot and humid, or it's going to be pouring buckets of rain, and you'll probably get both through the weekend. So we've had a few downpours there that are pretty much unbelievable. It's that time of year in that part of the country where the weather is pretty unpredictable, but generally. 80% of the time it's nice and sunny and hot, and you'll get a downpour somewhere in there.
So that means
sorry.
that
go
means
ahead.
I can have my peanut butter and jam sandwich.
Absolutely, that's what you want. Like we buy a stack of cheese, we buy a loaf of bread, we buy some lunch meat. You throw together whatever it is you like. There's some mustard or mayonnaise or whatever, and we just put it in the cooler, and we do that for the days that we're there having lunch, and it works really well.
So the
Awesome.
grounds
Get the
get
real.
really,
Yeah,
so the grounds get really muddy when it's pouring rain.
absolutely.
So you're going to need rubbers.
Most of the places
Well-
where you're going is actually paved. It's not so bad. In the flea market area, yes, they've actually put down gravel and stuff because in past years the field was a grass field and it got nasty the first year. So they learned very quickly. They put gravel roads basically in the center of the field. So it's not that bad, and it doesn't take long for it to disappear. But we've had some serious downpours there, and they make announcements that say get indoors. It's that bad because they have lightning and everything happening there. So it's boom and gone in 15, 20 minutes usually.
I got
Yeah,
a little story to tell you. My two daughter-in-laws, one of them, Karen, went down to Fort Myers to see her parents and that, and brought the kids and that. And my other daughter-in-law here with Al, she texted Karen, said, if you go into a grocery store or something like that, can you bring me back Jiffy peanut butter, the Jiffy one? Because supposedly we don't have it here or something like that. And she really likes that Jiffy one. And then we're going through the border, and that they asked her, did you buy anything and this and that? And she says, yeah, I've got some Jiffy. And she bought, it came in 2 big jars, like, the special, eh? So she says, yeah, I bought some peanut butter, Jiffy peanut butter, and I bought this, and I bought that, and I bought this. The guy at the thing says, Jiffy, don't you guys have peanut butter in Canada? He said, yeah, but not Jiffy.
My kids do the same thing, Dennis. My kids say when you go there, go to Walmart and pick me up a bunch of different cereals that are no longer available in Canada.
Yeah.
One of my daughters is gluten free, so if I go there, I can pick up Trix. She likes the Trix cereal, and in America it's gluten free. In Canada, it's not. So there you go.
Yeah. Another thing, Colette was just saying, Karen's mom, her friend said, when you go out there, bring me back this cat food because it was in Florida, and said they don't carry it here, eh? So she buys a case of cat food and brings it back to Sudbury for her friend. And at the border, he said, you guys don't have cat food in Canada? So not this brand. My cat, the cat really likes this brand. That's it,
I used to bring back Kool-Aid for the kids all the time because they stopped selling it in Canada. The little packages of Kool-Aid you used to make, not available in Canada. In the States, you can get it no problem. Stupid little things. It's amazing what you don't remember what you've lost till you go down there and see it on the shelf and go, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I loved Oscar Mayer wieners, right? The hot dogs. You can't get Oscar Mayer here in Canada, right? So I went and bought a bunch of those coming back. At least I don't think you can. I've never seen them. But anyway, so there are kinds of stuff like, the Peter Pan peanut butter or Jiffy, like you said, there you go, So there are things that you can purchase. But you're quite right. Thank you, Ken, in regards to going back early. And that's a nice thing with having 3 or 4 vehicles. If somebody wants to stay later and you decide, then you just jump in my vehicle and we'll go back a little later. If you want to go back early, then you go back with the group there. Like there's no, and if we need to chauffeur back and forth, it's not that difficult and it's not that far. So, I mean, we have those availabilities should something happen.
Is there a time change there, Al? Or are we still in the
No,
same
it's
time
the
zone?
same
time
zone
zone.
as we're here. So yeah, that makes it kind of nice that way. So we leave Sunday, we get back to Birch Run. There's the outlet mall, go out for dinner. The Monday, which is the holiday Monday, we get up and head north. Usually the Sunday night, we get all our receipts together and keep them in order so we're ready to go across the border. We get up as far as Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. If we decide, we can stop and have lunch there, and then all in convoy fashion again, go across the bridge, get make sure everybody gets back into Canada. And we're usually anxious to stop at Tim Hortons and grab a coffee and head.
Blind River, now they have a new A&W that opened last year.
Oh, did they? Excellent. Yeah. So, well, there's something there too, as does Espanola now. So, it's good. Anyway, usually depending on the time and how things work out, usually we're back at the junction at 6 and 17 around 3 o'clock on Monday afternoon. We part our ways. The Sudbury group heads back to Sudbury. The Manitoulin heads back to Manitoulin, and our Hamvention is over, and kind of a sad moment.
I'd like to mention
it's a good
another
week.
thing, Al.
Yeah.
If you're in the States for more than 48 hours, you're allowed $800 of duty free.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we're going to mention that in a few minutes too. So.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, you're allowed 200 cigarettes, 50 cigars, 200 tobacco sticks, and 200 grams of manufactured tobacco, 1.5 liters of wine, 1.14 liters of liquor, and 24 355 milliliter cans and bottles of beer or ale. So
Colette said liquor?
There you go.
Now, there's another thing that people don't know. You can actually bring in 6 or 12 bottles of wine or 5 bottles of liquor, but you have to pay the duty on the extra.
Yeah.
There's nothing preventing you from bringing in extra, but you have to declare it and pay duty on it.
Right. And they've got the duty-free shops on either side. So, yeah, if you need to do that, then we'll stop and wait for you to go through there. Purchase what you do, and then you usually pick it up on the other side. So, yeah, it works out pretty good that way. So that's the itinerary of the Hamvention and what we're involved with that way with it.